Welcome to Cosmic Eternity Channel. Have you ever walked into a place and, without a single word being spoken, something inside you immediately tensed? It's that strange stillness that isn't really silence. It's an invisible vibration, a kind of static that brushes against your soul and warns you that something is off. The air feels heavy, glances turn evasive, and every movement seems to echo with unease. In that instant you realize your energy doesn't belong there. For many of the chosen ones, that realization doesn't start out in strange places. It begins at home, in the very space where peace was supposed to live. It's not always outsiders who carry the heaviest energies. Sometimes it's those bound to you by blood, a sibling, a parent, an aunt, a cousin. The ones who were meant to offer comfort often become mirrors reflecting the very wounds you came to heal. You try kindness, conversation, balance. You lower your tone, open your heart, and still, the tension thickens. The more love you give, the more resistance you seem to provoke. It feels as though simply existing in truth becomes a silent threat to those who are still spiritually asleep. And inevitably, the question surfaces: what did I do wrong? The rational mind searches for a reason, but deep down, you already know there isn't one. What disturbs them isn't your actions, it's your essence. The light you carry exposes what others try to keep hidden. Even in silence, your vibration shines on what they avoid confronting. In spaces ruled by illusion, envy, or denial, your presence lands like a thunderbolt breaking through darkness. Within families, this effect grows even stronger. Bloodlines often hold emotional contracts, invisible expectations, and ancient roles that chain you to old versions of yourself. While your spirit evolves, many around you remain in the same loop, repeating the same words, the same behaviors, the same wounds. When you start speaking about awakening, awareness, or love that transcends fear, their eyes change. The laughter turns to mockery. Your words are cut off mid-sentence. Few things wound the soul like rejection from those you love. Being misunderstood by strangers is bearable, but when distance comes from your own home, it cuts deep. You try to fit in, to soften yourself, to be accepted, yet the energy grows heavier. It's a quiet kind of pain, one that mixes confusion with heartbreak. Because there's no visible reason for the coldness, just silence where connection used to be. Yet from a spiritual perspective, it all makes sense. Your higher self understands that this is part of your mission. You weren't sent here to please, you were sent to awaken. And awakening shakes things up. When your energy enters a room, everything misaligned begins to surface. Your presence silently declares, here, truth must be seen. But not everyone is ready to see it. They often say, you've changed. And yes, you have. Change is the clearest sign of growth. What unsettles them isn't your transformation, but what it reflects back, their own stagnation. Your expansion becomes a mirror, showing them where they've refused to evolve. That's why distance forms, not because you are wrong, but because your vibration no longer matches theirs. We grow up hearing that family is everything, that blood ties are sacred and unconditional. But time reveals a different truth. Some families are held together by habit, not love, by guilt, not honesty. The chosen ones sense this early on. Their sensitivity is a compass pointing toward imbalance, and they can't pretend not to notice when something feels off. That same sensitivity often becomes a burden. People label you too intense, too emotional, or too complicated. But they don't realize that you don't only feel for yourself, you feel for everyone. You are wired to sense emotional frequencies, to detect what's hidden beneath the surface. That's why lies, injustice, and unspoken tension affect you so deeply. You pick up on what others try to ignore. And when you dare to voice what you feel, the atmosphere shifts. A simple family gathering turns into a battlefield of unspoken truths. Sarcastic comments appear, judgments disguised as jokes or advice. "You're acting strange. You think you're better than us." That's all in your head. And the sting is sharper because it comes from those who should have protected your heart. But your calling is stronger than their criticism. The universe did not choose you to blend in, it chose you to break cycles. And every transformation begins at home. The spiritual work starts in your own lineage, with recognizing inherited wounds, patterns, and beliefs. Being the one who ends the chain of pain is never easy, but it's sacred work. Many try to turn back. They dim their light, bite their tongue, pretend not to see, but once the soul awakens, there's no return to sleep. You can attempt to shrink yourself, but the discomfort will only grow louder. It's the inner voice whispering, "You can't go back to who you were." True awakening demands the courage to be authentic even when no one else understands. That's when the greatest test appears, to hold your light steady amidst the darkness of others, to stay grounded even when misunderstood, criticized, or left out, to realize that rejection is sometimes divine protection. Some separations are orchestrated by God to preserve your peace. Not every blood connection is a soul connection, and learning that truth frees you. There's another layer that few dare to talk about: spiritual envy. It's not about possessions or achievements, it's about essence. It's the jealousy of your calmness, your resilience, your silent strength. When this comes from someone in your family, the wound cuts deeper. Because it hurts to see someone who grew beside you feel threatened by your light. Most can't even name what they feel. They just say, "Something about you bothers me." And that's exactly it. Your frequency disturbs what's still dormant in them. Your authenticity disrupts the masks they wear. Your courage highlights their avoidance. It's not a clash of people, it's a clash of energies. They might respond with sarcasm, backhanded comments, or false smiles. They may wound you with words that seem harmless but carry poison. You feel it not in your skin, but in your spirit. That exhaustion of defending yourself from those who should have loved you safely. Yet even then, the chosen one doesn't harden. You might ache, but you don't turn bitter. You learn to see through compassion without surrendering your strength. Because at the end of it all, your light was never meant to be accepted by everyone. It was meant to transform the world, one vibration at a time. And sometimes that transformation starts in the most painful place, home. From my perspective, everything described in this message feels profoundly real and deeply personal. I've come to understand that the tension we sometimes feel around certain people, especially within our own family, is not about conflict, but about vibration. Energy doesn't lie. When your spirit starts to awaken, it naturally exposes what others still refuse to confront. That's not arrogance, it's alignment. I've realized that being misunderstood or rejected by those closest to me isn't a punishment, it's part of my spiritual evolution. The more I grow, the clearer it becomes that not everyone is meant to walk beside me. Some connections exist only to teach lessons, not to last forever. The pain of letting go eventually turns into peace, because authenticity always costs something, but pretending costs your soul. For me, awakening has been both a liberation and a test. It means standing firm in my truth even when it makes others uncomfortable. It means loving from a distance when necessary, and understanding that silence can be a form of protection. I've learned that true family isn't defined by blood, but by resonance, by those who see your light and don't feel threatened by it. So yes, it hurts when the people you love turn cold. But I believe that every distance created by divine timing has a higher purpose. Sometimes God separates you from certain energies, not because you're better, but because you're ready to live your truth, carry your light, and walk your path with integrity, no matter who understands it or not. It's a harsh truth to realize that those who have always had everything can feel threatened by someone who has merely discovered purpose. But that is the way of spiritual energy. True radiance comes not from possessions, but from consciousness itself. Those still chained to appearances cannot tolerate someone living authentically. The best course for the chosen one is to remain steadfast in their truth, even if it costs the approval or affection of others. With time, the need to justify yourself fades. You understand that it is not your responsibility to explain your light or dim it to fit into someone else's limited world. The soul communicates before words do, and when your energy enters a space, reactions naturally follow. The shift in the atmosphere is evidence that you are fulfilling your mission, stirring what has grown stagnant, awakening what has been asleep. Spiritual work begins quietly, through mere presence. You do not need to shout or perform. Simply being is enough. Every discomfort you evoke is an invitation for growth. Some will resist, some will awaken. But your duty is not to force transformation, it is to sustain the vibration that sparks it. You remain a light, even when surrounded by darkness. Being chosen is rarely glamorous. It is a burden and a gift, a cross to bear with grace. It is feeling more, seeing deeper, yet holding space for love in spite of everything. It is carrying a mission that weighs heavily, while simultaneously liberating. It is breaking generational chains and silently declaring the cycle ends here. It is accepting the pain inherent in the process, knowing it is the price of freedom. From early on, the chosen senses difference. They are the introspective, sensitive child who says things no one seems to understand. Family may label, laugh, or attempt to shape them. Yet this child carries ancestral awareness, feeling the unspoken wounds of the lineage. As they mature, they become a stabilizing force, the one who absorbs, purifies, and transforms energy. The responsibility is immense. When the chosen suffers, the environment shifts. When they heal, balance is restored. Their energy acts as an invisible thread connecting the family's destinies. This is why their solitude feels so heavy. It is the pause between chaos and restoration. Within that solitude, they learn the value of silence, introspection, and prayer. In that quiet, they reconnect with themselves. They realize they were never truly alone, and that true support comes from higher realms. Strength then shifts inward, no longer seeking outside validation, but rooting itself in faith and self-love. Rejection becomes a catalyst, a push back toward the core of one's essence. Eventually, the cycle flips. Those who once judged now seek guidance. Those who mocked find themselves turning for support in moments of pain. They recognize intuitively the strength they once dismissed. The chosen responds, but with wisdom, never losing themselves, never carrying burdens that are not theirs. Spirituality teaches that loving those who have hurt you does not mean submission. It means refusing contamination. It is seeing beyond the offense to the wounded soul beneath the behavior. It is understanding without permitting abuse. It is forgiving to reclaim your peace, not to sustain harmful attachments. True forgiveness restores freedom. Every time the chosen chooses love over anger, an invisible chain breaks. Every deliberate silence disrupts cycles of pain. Every necessary distance is an act of healing, and this healing spreads. The energy released purifies the lineage, touches past and future generations, and clears the collective field. Over time, they realize the greatest spiritual service is self-healing. No mission is greater than turning suffering into light. Every tear shed in love becomes a prayer. Every wound healed in oneself becomes a blessing for those who came before and those yet to come. When the chosen heals, the family field breathes. Repetition ends. Pain dissolves. There is no need for words. Their vibration speaks for them. The universe responds to the frequency of a liberated soul. Even if unnoticed consciously, the environment shifts, the air changes, time flows differently. Where there is healing, there is expansion. Finally, The chosen understands the meaning of it all. Rejection was protection. Pain was initiation. Solitude was preparation. Every wound was also a catalyst for awakening, and now they move forward in peace, knowing that their light is not meant to be understood, but to be fully lived. From my spiritual perspective, everything in this journey has a deeper purpose. I see now that the struggles, the rejection, and the solitude were never punishments, they were invitations. Each moment of discomfort was a mirror, reflecting not only the wounds of others, but also the truth of my own soul. The resistance I faced was never about me being wrong. It was about the light I carry, revealing what others could not yet see in themselves. I've come to understand that my mission is not to change anyone, nor to seek approval. My path is to remain aligned with my essence, to hold my light steady, and to heal where I can. True power lies in embracing this responsibility without resentment, in transforming pain into clarity, and in letting my presence speak louder than words. Spiritually, I recognize that love does not mean surrender. It means seeing beyond the surface, honoring the lessons hidden in every encounter, and forgiving not for others, but to free myself. Every act of conscious love, every moment of healing, sends ripples through the lineage, touching past, present, and future. Ultimately, my perception is that the chosen path is one of courage, compassion, and unwavering authenticity. Rejection, envy, and misunderstanding are not obstacles, they are markers of growth. The light I carry is meant to be lived fully, even when unseen or unrecognized. And in this awareness, I find peace, knowing that my journey is sacred, my mission is real, and my soul is exactly where it needs to be.